Hey, Mean Matt here. So, lo and behold, I'm watching TV and they finally put out a DVD called The Attitude Era. And I think, I made a rant back in January of the Attitude Era versus the PG era of the last couple years. And I think, well, here's the thing. Now, I grew up. I was a teenager when we had the Attitude Era. I remember vividly the Stone Cold, Steve Austin Rock feud. I know that's not where the Attitude Era started, but there's a lot of memories that flooded back. So, the thing is, when did the Attitude Era really start? And I know I mentioned it back in the video that I made before. But here's the thing. When did it really start? When did you... Well, we could say that it all started with the birth of DX, or the birth of Austin 316, or the fact that Vince McMahon came up on your screen and said, I know that you guys want to be treated differently now, and we want more edgier stuff on your show. So you could say that. But here's the thing. Vince McMahon is arguably one of the biggest geniuses you could ever think of in terms of a businessman. Or should I say was, because nowadays, it just seems like he's getting older, and we know that he's getting older because the storylines are stupid. And people are complaining now because they're saying that the WWE is now stealing from TNA. Well, I can actually see that because TNA has the beginning of the review of last week, and now WWE is starting to do that. They have the AJ Lee scandal with John Cena. Well, in TNA it was AJ Styles and I can't remember her name. And, they had Kazarian coming out with Christopher Daniels, and this whole storyline happened, and now they're saying that Aces and Eights, this whole thing with the Shield, is an Aces and Eights ripoff. But what people don't understand is that Vince McMahon has been ripping WCW off. Just look at D-Generation X. If there were no NWO, do you think there would be a D-Generation X? Think about that for a second, because here's the three guys that you had: Hulk Hogan, or Hollywood Hogan, I guess, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. And then 3 years later, or a year later even, you had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chyna, and to a certain, well, for a while anyways, Rick Rude. And they called themselves D-Generation X. You take that and you go, well, that could be a ripoff. But at the same time, it's, that's the way it is, I guess. But like I said before, I started watching wrestling around the time, I believe it was after Bret Hart left. And I know that my brother told me when Bret Hart left and I kind of watched where Vince McMahon ranted and said the classic line that Brett screwed Brett. But I don't remember watching anything after that. But I do remember the point where McMahon said we should have a lot more edgier programming for an audience member. And now some of the audience members. Now I believe that it should be all ages. You know, there should be something for everybody. And this is a perfect point, and I probably said this before, but this is a perfect point now that if you're going to 3 hours, to have the first 2 hours dedicated to probably the younger fans, the fans that you can promote the silly stuff or anything like that. And then, in the third hour, have it more adult. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, the AJ Lee scandal with John Cena. No, which sucks, by the way, but there has been worse. For those of you who don't remember Triple H and Kane's storyline with Katie Vick. So this DVD's out, and I'm looking at the label on the computer because it's not in Canada yet, as far as I'm concerned. At least I haven't seen it in stores, but I'm looking at the cover page, and there is like a big green blitz, or the F should be, because originally they wanted the WWF Attitude Era, but for some reason they had another lawsuit or something with the World Wildlife Fund, which I think it sucks. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love animals to death, but you know what? You can't fuck with a company that's been around for 30 or 31 years or so. So, I mean, if you ask me where the Attitude Era ends, I think it was right after WrestleMania 18 when you said, oh, well, okay, I guess it's over now because it's WWE. But it's a very good program. It was a very good few years that I got to actually, you know, grow with the WWE, because I started watching it 20 years ago, and you know, it was right for me because I was a kid. So I feel like I kind of grew up with it through the years. And should it be raunchy? Well, I don't know. I don't think it should be as raunchy. I think I would have got rid of some of the storylines. I definitely would have gotten rid of the Paul Heyman faking a heart attack, although he brought up a really good point. He said people who complain about what I did on Raw with CM Punk in the ring, they are the same people that wish the Attitude Era was back. And that's actually a pretty good point, you know. And if you feel sorry for Jerry Lawler because of it, and I know that he died for 30 seconds or 30 minutes and all this other stuff, but for those of you that feel sorry for Jerry Lawler because of it, go back to 1996 when he was making fun of Jake Roberts' alcoholism. I'm just saying. So I really do want to get the planning on getting the DVD. Also, speaking of NWO, like I mentioned earlier, they have a DVD out too. I can't wait to see it. I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all. Yeah. Just, I guess can't wait to get the DVDs. Well, yeah, that's it. I, don't have anything else. Okay, bye.